Hello, welcome along to WD18, the Watford fan channel. My name is Jacob Colshaw. I'm joined by, as always, Sam Yuko, Charlie Zazera, and a man who's not making his debut today. I think this is his second official app/appearance on the YouTube channel. He's featured across the TikTok. The fans have been in our DMs saying, "Bring him home," and we brought him home. It's Alex King, everybody.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Kingy, how are you, sir?
Very good, thank you. There seems to be a common theme that I don't watch Watford and they seem to win. So me and my uncle went to the first game of the season at QPR. He has not seen us win since. So we're having a lovely season, to be honest with you, if I could define it.
We are indeed. Just briefly, Kingy, I just wanted to ask you about not attending QPR away yesterday. It was out of principle. I'm hearing now it's out of principle.
Right, it's just that. Right, who was charging 38 quid for a ticket in the Sky
money well spent?
I know it's money well spent. It was 12 o'clock on a Sunday. It was on Sky, and it's personally 20 is plenty.
It was all those things, but Jake Livermore scored 2. And Sam, your Monday, you said happy Monday to everyone, including Jake Livermore. How have you been feeling today, mate? I mean, I walked into work, showing everyone the 2 goals, showing everyone the limbs in that away end. They're loving it, and Watford are massive, and so is Livermore.
2 words: Jake Livermore, Jake Livermore, Jake Livermore. Oh wow, what a day yesterday! What a day, and just incredible. I think I can't remember the last time I've watched highlights back so many times, to be honest with you. Like, I know Jacob, your tweets done pretty well today, where you picked up on the shoot from before the second goal, but just everything about yesterday. We'll come on to it. I don't think the performance was amazing, but just everything about it was perfect. I can't really explain it. I mean, the first half was poor, but the second half was, wow. The 2 goals, first of all, 2 ridiculous goals in front of the Watford end, from Jake Livermore, who so many fans had written off at the start of the season. He's now become firmly a fan's favourite. It's not Watford if we don't make it difficult for ourselves. And towards the end, I was sat next to Charlie. We had Rickery Mike behind us. Everyone was sort of just going, just blow the whistle, ref. And then Ben Hamer pulls off an absolutely ridiculous save. Seeing it back, I know we've spoken about how good he's been every week, but I think that tops it. What an unbelievable save. If Neuer, Ederson, Alisson had done that, it would be absolutely everywhere. And then the full-time whistle, the celebrations at the end. I'm buzzing. I'm smiling. What for the back?
Video done. Video's done. Let's go.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Charlie, where does that rank in away days you've done following the Mighty Horns over the years?
Sam actually did a good tweet just showing our recent form away days. I can't see past Preston. Like, there's just the whole day. Like, to be fair, yesterday I was in a bit of an odd mood. The fact there was the early kickoff at the first half, I was like, I'm not drinking this dry January. And it was just like, this is tough. But as soon as Jake Livermore popped up, everything changed. And that second goal, you mentioned Mike Parkin. There was a great moment for Jake Livermore's second goal where he was at the front like the Christ the Redeemer, and everyone kind of piled on him. And I kissed his bald head like Zidane and Booth and Barthez, that shot for France. It was a magical moment.
I love it.
Good to be a Watford fan these days, eh?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was a great day to be a Watford fan yesterday. Anyone who's watching live, if you could leave a like on the video, as Surin says it, please like the stream. It really helps the channel. If you're listening on audio, drop us a review. It massively helps us out. We've got loads of you watching, so make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll chuck some comments and thoughts and feelings over to the lads and get their take on what you had to think of yesterday's win away from home. Alex / Kingy, what was it about yesterday that was such a huge win for Watford? Because it wasn't pretty. It wasn't overall a great performance. If anything, it was one of our poorer performances this season, but we managed to find a way.
I think maybe the opposition helps as well. I think one of the worst away games I went to was that 1-0 that we lost last year at that place. And it's always something to be about QPR. They did the double over us last year. I just think it's just the opposition. It's one of those games where it's like they're fighting for their lives in relegation. I mean, how many times do we have it that people are fighting for their lives to play Watford and they beat them? Seems to be a general consistent theme. So I think, like I said, the performance wasn't great, and we'll probably get on to the subs, which I thought were absolutely abomination, if I'm totally honest with you. But I think it's just the opponent and just the character about it. I think was the best thing for me. I think.
Yeah, Sam, character was something that was mentioned a lot in the stands yesterday. What particularly defined the character, if that makes sense? Was it just actions from certain players? Was it the team spirit? Was it the morale? What was it in particular?
100%, yeah. I've spoken a lot, and I probably sound like a broken record now about the intangibles, because I said that at the start of the season that that's what I want to see back at Watford. Obviously, you can look at what happens on the pitch, tactically, formations, that sort of thing. But I think you don't get success with any of that unless you've got players running, giving 110%, playing for the badge, recognising the supporters behind the goal. And I'd like to make that comparison that Alex mentioned with last year's defeat away at QPR compared to yesterday. That, all right, yesterday was probably a tiny bit better, but the performances weren't too dissimilar, to be honest with you. But I think what got us over the line yesterday was just that sheer determination, that never say die attitude. Last season, the game probably would have gone away from us if not, for example, Ryan Andrews, who I want to talk about, didn't have his best game yesterday. But we see in the first half that tackle for him to get it off I'm not sure who it was about to tap it in, but Andrews getting back, making that tackle. Shatford Tatsay was absolutely everywhere yesterday, was absolutely dead by the end of it. I'm not sure if anyone else picked up on, it must have been the 92nd, 93rd minute. He sprinted back, won the tackle, and Val Ishmael celebrated it in front of him like it was a goal. That was fantastic to see. Ben Hamer getting better by the week. Jake Livermore, we're going to speak about him a lot, of course, but just with experience comes pure class. And I just love this Watford team. I love it because we know it's not the best technically that we've ever seen, but I can't remember the last time we've seen a team who actually care like this and who actually, they want to be here. They want to try and win games. They're not letting games get away from them. And it's just fantastic to see.
Charlie?
Yeah, like the guys kind of said, we weren't too different from this time last year, but I think the big difference between last year's performance was the fight and the fact that we're a team. We talked about Ryan's effort to get back onto the line. Shatford Tatsay, the amount of recoveries he made. I thought Hu and Sierralta actually had a good game. Sierralta maybe not all of the time, but I thought he won loads of duels in the air. I think they played against Armstrong, who's an absolute unit. And he's literally like a bull who was kind of raging into them, and everyone kind of stood up to the fight. And what was the difference between this season and last season, and probably the difference between us and them, is that we've just got that bit more quality. And whether it comes from Livermore or it would have come from anyone else, it did shine through in the end. And like my best mate's a QPR fan, so all the more sweeter. But they were kind of like, "Who's your best player?" And I'm like, I don't really know, because I just think we're just a team. Like we've just got a really good team. Like everyone gets involved. The fact that Tom Delly can come in, Shatford Tatsay can come in, I thought those two were pretty good. And you just feel comfortable with it. James Morris again just comes in, pretty solid performance. Like I said, Val has just done an outstanding job with this Watford team. It needs to get talked about a bit more in the context of where we were in the summer. So hats off to him, hats off to the team. They've been brilliant.
Yeah, let's take it back to that team that was put out yesterday, Alex. So if we run through the Watford starting 11, there's Ben Hamer in goal, Ryan Andrews, Sierralta, Hoot, and James Morris making up the back four. Jake Livermore in that holding midfielder role, with Yasser Asprilla on the right, Mateus Martins on the left, Shatford Tatsay and Dele Bashiru just in front of Livermore, and then Reece Healy up front. It was a slightly changed team, Kingy. What was your initial reaction when the lineup came out? Because as I said, there was changes and some maybe that people didn't expect.
Well, I think to be fair, initially I didn't actually think Ryan Andrews is in the team. So when I saw Tom Dele Bashiru, I thought he was right back again. I think for me, if I could pick one thing out, I think there would be that Dele Bashiru was playing at centre midfield, which is evidently his best position. I was happy with that, and I think it's a debate, but I was pleased that Healy was starting because, and I think you might even come up with this yourself, I think Ravic's best thing at the moment is coming on with 20 to play. do think he's partly wasted when he starts. And
Yesterday
obviously,
as well.
I never thought of that the words I missed for Kuhn Bio, but you looked at the team and I was like, well, Bio was there, that'd be brilliant. But I think, with the team, I think if you could get a team with Spree and Martins and Chapatazzi in it, I think they're probably our three best attacking players or creative players anyway. So any team with them in is I think, I was happy with it, definitely.
Yeah, Sam, we just wanted to pick out some individuals that particularly impressed. You mentioned Chapatazzi there, and obviously we'll touch on Jake Livermore in just a second, but he's a player, and obviously Ben Hamer as well. They were the two standouts from my point of view. You look at Jake Livermore, you look at Ben Hamer in terms of individual brilliance at key moments in the game. But someone who I think really maybe just slipped under the radar slightly with his overall performance was Georgie, because we've noticed him playing off the left under Val. He played as the left centre midfielder in this game. And the one thing you say about Georgie is that tenacity, that work rate. There's no question he's got ability on the ball when he's running with it, when he plays those passes. But was it his off the ball performance that caught your eye a little bit more maybe than usual?
100%. I think Georgie's a player this season. I've been a big fan throughout. I think at times he has blown a bit hot and cold. I think there's some games where you're sort of looking at him going, I'm not sure if he's cut out for this. There were rumours a few weeks ago that he could perhaps be looking for a new loan move. But based on what we saw yesterday, we cannot be letting him go. Maybe it's something about playing QPR, because we saw on that first day of the season, there's a little nutmeg, I think it was, when he first came on. But I think you're right, Jacob. I think it was off the ball. I thought he was absolutely fantastic yesterday. On the ball, we know he's got ability, but I've sometimes questioned, does he have the physicality for this? It was brilliant, just so good, winning the ball back in similar positions in central midfield, stopping turnovers for QPR. There were a few opportunities that they had to counter-attack and get into really good positions that if Georgie wasn't there, we ultimately wouldn't have done that. I think it's brilliant to talk about. I mean, Kiembe's been absolutely excellent this season, and I really hope he makes a quick recovery, because he's ultimately our first choice. But I think what Chapatazzi offers is a bit more team ability in the middle of the park, a bit more pace as well. And I think that yesterday, I thought that came to the fore, and he was absolutely excellent for us.
Do you know what? I did see a difference in the team with Kiembe in the team and not in the team. Personally, I felt that one thing you get with Kiembe is he gives us a bit of control in the midfield. I think 100%. That first half as well, away from home.
Yeah, I think that wasn't a dig at Kiembe or anything. I've loved him to play yesterday. I thought he's been brilliant, one of our players of the season. Who would have thought I'd be saying that a year ago? But I just think what Georgie offered yesterday, I think it's shown that not necessarily as a starter for Kiembe, I wouldn't say that, but we've got something slightly different to come off the bench. Or if Kiembe is out for a while, I think we could be in safe hands here with Chapatazzi.
Lou Warren's in the comment section, Charlie. I think what doesn't get spoken about enough is we're winning games with Hamer, a backup keeper most of his career, 2 academy fullbacks, a rotating midfield, 2 young wide players, and strikers who probably don't have the best conversion rate when you look at the strikers this season and the amount of chances they're getting. I know you wanted to touch on Val. What has he done in your eyes that has changed Watford? Because a lot of Watford fans I know and I spoke to yesterday feel so, and Sam said at the top of the show, feel so connected to this team. But just performances wise, it seems like he's getting so much. And there's no disrespect to the players that are there, but he's getting so much and getting the maximum out of the players that he has at his disposal.
Yeah, I think sometimes people think it's a cliche when you hear the words like culture and mentality, but it's such an important thing in football. And I think from the summer, they said no pre-season going on tour. We're doing 7 weeks hard graft, building up our fitness. We saw the bleep tests. And I just think from the get-go, we got rid of all the players who didn't want to be here, really trimmed the squad down. I think it's been a massive advantage to us now, the fact that we've got such a small squad, but we've got people fighting for positions. We can rotate near enough every game. Sam mentioned about kind of Chapatazzi, Kiembe. I think horses for courses, depending on who we're playing and the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition. But Val's come in, like, it's been great that he's had kind of Dean with him. Omar's come in. It just feels like they've built a really good, tight-knit community, a squad who are playing together. And that's what's getting us over the line in these games, because we've all said yesterday's performance wasn't great. But the fact that we're a team and that spirit's there and we're all fighting for each other, I just think what I'm excited about really now is that I don't think we've got anywhere near kind of Val what we've talked about, how he wants to play. We saw it in the first 40 minutes against QPR, but obviously the championship's difficult. So we've kind of lost our way a bit there, but we've that fight. And I think with a couple of windows, especially the summer one, I think next season we could be a really exciting prospect. So again, like Val, he's really surprised me, especially what we thought we were going to get that style of play. But so glad to have him as our manager at the moment.
Watford move up to 8th in the league, just 1 point off the playoffs, in Coventry in 6th. That's now 27 games played, 10 wins, 9 draws, 8 defeats, 39 points in the league. We've just had a bit of news coming in now, according to the live chat. Adam Leventhal's released some news that who is he referring to? Very, very briefly. Give me 2 seconds.
Antonio Tikvic.
He's not joining.
Yeah, deals off.
Yeah. Just a transfer update coming in now from Adam Leventhal. I feel like I'm on Sky Sports News. Today's Antonio Tikvic won't be joining Watford on loan. The Croatia under-21 international play for Bayern, second team before moving to Italy this season, where he's played in League and Cup. FIFA rules don't permit third club. He made his Serie A debut yesterday. He was a left-footed centre-back who was rumoured to be, very close to joining Watford. That obviously impacts what happens to Matty Pollock now, whether he stays for the rest of the season, whether he gets moved out on loan. There was a links to going to Belgium, and a club that Watford have close ties to in Charleroi in the Belgian Pro League. So that's one to keep an eye on. Just going back on, and we'll touch a little bit more on transfers in just a moment. What I was saying was that Watford are 8th in the league, 27 games, 39 points, 10 wins this season. And a few of the comment section I want to throw over to you. Rio says, this sounds like WD18 deadline day Sky Sports with their transfer news. It literally was that. Just a few comments I'm going to throw over to you, Kingy, just to get you warmed up for this stream. There was one which said there was one about Chak Fadatsy for Rio. Chak won the ball back a fair few times for a player who we question. Would he adapt to England due to his physicality? He certainly has. But one for you, Kingy. Does Bio come straight back in for Bristol City?
Oh, it's a very good question. Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, I personally, anyway, I believe he should come in. I think it'd be quite a tough game on Saturday, and I really like him for what he is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In terms of just, I think we need, arguably probably our best team, and he probably is I think it's fair to say he's in our best team at the moment. I would say. So I do think he comes back in. So that's my simple answer, really. I don't know what
one's keeping on for Bristol City. Yeah, it's fair. It's totally fair. One's keeping on for Bristol City. I'll be there. Kingy's going to be there. Sam's going to be there. Charlie is not going to be there. He's prioritised.
How many likes on the video to get me to Bristol City?
I reckon 100. If we get 100, I mean,
no.
We've got 100 likes on this stream, and Charlie's going to Bristol City. Okay, just going back onto yesterday's game, we touched on the lineup. First half, Kingy, just throw it back over to you, mate. I have to admit, it was a terrible half, the first half. It was really bad. I have to say, there were a few boos coming from that away end. We can't shy away from it. There were a few boos about that Watford performance. It was quite stale, quite passive, pretty boring. Both teams not really offering a lot of quality. If anything, QPR had the best chance of the game. I think Sam touched on it there. The shot that was parried from Ben Hamer, which Ryan Andrews stopped Ilias Chair from tapping in. So QPR the best chance of the game. What was it about that first half that was poor and needed to pick up in the second half?
Well, definitely had a shot. That's probably we didn't have a shot on target. So quite simply for me, that was the thing we needed to improve. I don't know if it's just me. I've seen a very consistent theme where we seem to have the ball a lot, try and get to the final third, and then simply refuse to shoot, which, kind of Michael Owen that you are, if you don't shoot, you're not going to score. Thank you, Michael Owen. So I think for me, that was the fundamental issue. Just it's all very well having the ball. It's all very well having these creative players in the team, but someone's got to pull the trigger eventually. And I feel at times people are a bit afraid to shoot. So I think, sorry, Sam messaged saying, if you don't shoot, you don't score. Thank you, Michael.
So it's very, very, very David Brent of him.
Yeah,
hang on. Some stats coming in. Watford have scored the most goals from outside of the area in the Championship this season. So we can't think about maybe in the first half, but ever since that foul video where we saw him encouraging shooting, seems like they're shooting for fun, and I just think we weren't that at it in the first half, and I don't know. Do we come on stronger in the second half? It feels like that maybe a bit. Sam, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this. I'm not sure if psychologically there's an element to it, but I don't know the stats inside out. But it does seem that a lot of the 12 o'clock championship games start slowly. I'm not sure if it's a thing about the game starting a lot earlier because a player's pre-match would start at 7 a.m. for a 12 o'clock kickoff or something like that, which is incredibly early compared to what they used to with 3 o'clock kickoffs where they perhaps start at 10 a.m. So I'm not sure if perhaps psychologically that plays a role, but I think you have to look at Watford's wider season where we're starting games slowly. You look at Chesterfield last week, we didn't start playing till 60 minutes or so. Even Preston, Blackburn, we didn't start playing till the last 10, 15 minutes. I think that would be the next step for this Watford team, to be honest with you, about can we do it over a whole 90 minutes? Because I think it's been great to see the fight, the character and the fitness levels in the second half, but I think we do make things difficult for ourselves sometimes. And perhaps, look, I don't want to sound too negative, but I think perhaps against better teams than QPR, for example, next week, like Bristol City, if we start like that, we will get punished, I think.
Yeah, I looked at the stats after the game. I came out the ground and it was one of those, I was scratching my head thinking, how have we actually come away with a win there? And I mean that in a respectful way possible, most respectful way possible, in the sense that if you look at the stats, QPR had 16 shots to Watford's 9. They had 7 on target to Watford's 2. And the 2 shots on target were 2 goals from Jake Livermore. And then I looked at the XG, and I think QPR's was over 2 and ours was 0.4. So on if it wasn't for Jake Livermore, we probably could have been coming away with a point or less, if we're being completely honest. But Charlie, what changed?
It didn't feel like a smash and grab though. To me, when I was watching it, Jacob said, I know you messaged in the group, and I looked at the stats afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, QPR did dominate," but I think that was mainly due to Sirialta had a big mistake which let Sinclair through, which Ben Hamer made an amazing save to keep us in it. But it's not like we were holding on for dear life, and it's not like I don't know. It didn't feel like a smash and grab for me.
I think they created more clear-cut chances than us, though. I think they had that Ryan Andrews tackle in the first half. There was that Sinclair Armstrong one that you mentioned. I can't really think of anything. I mean, Ryvich had a header in the second half, but I can't think of too much that we created other than Livermore's 2 shots. To be honest,
it's two average teams, really.
Charlie, Mark in the comment section, good to see you, mate. We seem to always start very slowly. I can't remember the last game where we played better in the first half than the second half, but what changed in the second half?
QPR on the first day.
Yeah, I was going to say QPR first day.
What changed in the second half, Charlie? What did you see a difference in performance compared to the first half?
I'd probably say not really until the goal. I don't know. And I think that really burst the game into life. And am I right in saying he scored, come off the man, come off the hour, scored on the hour and 60 minutes? Then he scored on 64th minute, didn't he?
Yeah, it was 60 and 65th.
Yeah, so that kind of burst game into life. And then obviously with QPR chasing, it kind of gave us a lot more opportunities on the break, which made for quite a exciting game until they scored, which was just classic Watford. And Sam Yuko curse showing me the league table when we were 2-0 up, and I was telling him, calm down. But we got over the line. I think there's only one man that we can talk about that made the second half, and that's 34-year-old Jake Livermore.
Before we come on to Livermore, got some more breaking transfer news, not regarding Watford, but Bristol City, who we play on Saturday, have just signed Scott Twine, a player who Watford have been linked with in the past. He's quite good from free kicks, I believe.
He scored against us, didn't he, for Hull?
Yeah, he did. So that's one to look out for the weekend.
One to keep an eye on. I mean, they've got their midfielder, we've got our midfielder, and that's Jake Livermore. And one thing I would say about Jake, we mentioned it with the 2 goals yesterday. The first of which, I mean, is just glorious. Some people initially said to me, Begovic should be doing better. No, he shouldn't. I mean, he's just picked it outside the post. He's curled it in. I don't think many keepers are stopping that. Then to give it the old Cantona collar up, having a look around at Loftus Road, see how many fans are still in the stadium. Then the second one comes to the edge of the area. Just everything about that goal is, for me, that might be goal of the season. Not in terms of, it might not be the highest quality, but just everything to it. He's already scored one. He's picked up in pretty much the same position. The Watford fans are crying for a shoot. He then obliges, puts it in the bottom corner, and it does the exact same celebration where he just stands there and takes it all in. Kingy, when you were watching from home yesterday, What were the odds of seeing a Jake Livermore brace?
Oh, I don't think even the commentators could really believe it, in total honesty. I don't know if you've watched it back. It's sort of like Livermore, and then like it went in, and then it was sort of a delayed reaction of, oh, he's actually scored, has he? That was sort of my thing, actually. The initial first goal, because the angle, watched from afar, the angle on Sky, is that it was obviously curled in round the post. I think it took me about 2 or 3 seconds to actually realise it had gone in the net. Because I think QPR is quite deceiving as well, the background behind the net as well. It's sort of almost you can't really see it. So, and then
They
he
started celebrating a goal in the first half, actually thinking they'd scored.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the best set up Sky commentary, we should probably leave it as well, because that was absolutely shambolic as well. They didn't want to be there. I'm not sure Jamie Mackey wanted to be there. I'm not sure Troy Deeney wanted to be there either, in total honesty. But yeah, no, I think coming back to the thing about how much do they expect Jake Livermore double, I don't think they could quite believe it, to be honest with you. I don't think I could believe it.
Jake Livermore at the double and Charlie Zazera at Bristol City if we get 200 likes on this video. So if you drop a like, let's get them up to 100 on this live stream. And if we get to 200, if you're listening on audio, get onto YouTube, sign into all your YouTube accounts and drop a like. Sam, the floor is yours. Jake Livermore. When he first joined, there was a lot of people, including all three of us. I think I was the only one to say he'd have a good role in this team, but there we go. There was a couple of people saying his legs have gone. What does he offer to this team? We've tried to sign him before, let it go. We don't need to pick him up. But he's slowly but surely proved himself probably to be the most important player in this Watford team.
Yeah, I think it's become a bit of a, from a few weeks ago, a bit of a running joke from some people on Twitter that I always say, oh, he's proved me wrong, because so many players have this season, but none more so than Jake Livermore. Wow, the impact that he's had on this team, not just from my assumptions before the season, but during the season as well, because when he made his debut at Stevenage away, there was another game he came on, I think Stoke away as well, where he looked so poor, so leggy, and I was thinking, what on earth have we done here in terms of signing him? But he just needed a few games to get up to speed, really bed himself into the dressing room, and wow, I'd go as far as saying he's transformed this Watford team in terms of his leadership on the pitch, the composure that he gives us, everything he gives us in terms of his experience, and we look the better team because of it. I look back to previous signings that we've had, such as Ben Watson in the promotion season in 2014-15, but Livermore's contributions has been sort of similar to that. And yesterday, I know perhaps it wasn't the most likely way that he'd win us the game with a brace with 2 fantastic goals, but wow, 2 incredible goals as well. Knowing when to pull the trigger with his experience as well was really, really good to see, and absolutely love him.
So just a stat for you all. Last time Watford did the double against QPR was in 2005-06 when we got promoted at the Millennium Stadium against Leeds United through the playoffs. The last time Jake Livermore scored a brace was for Hull City in the 2015-16 season, and Hull City got promoted through the playoffs. So one to keep an eye on throughout the season. Charlie, Jake Livermore, just... even if you take away the 2 goals, he just brings that calmness, that sureness. You feel like Jake's got it under control. We've lacked a player like that for so long. I think last season probably summed up quite well in the sense that we had all these players individually who were quite good, but we didn't have that linchpin in the middle, that leader, that guy who can direct the team. And he just seems like, I don't know for you, but he just seems like he brings it all together.
The lieutenant, he is a Val's man, and he's just a boss, isn't he? Yeah, I've just enjoyed his performance. Like, just keeps everything so simple, and it's funny. And people like moan, but you'll never see him play like a 60-yard pass if it's never on. Cough, cough, Wesley who, or you'll never see him kind of try and beat a man. He just makes the right decisions, and it just shows how important football IQ is and that intelligence. And he's got it in abundance. His positioning is spot on. And I actually thought yesterday, I think we got a bit complacent, and I think Val did as well, taking him off very early. And I think we lost kind of shape and control of the game. I think it was like 25 minutes to go. I think we went a bit early, and we could have dropped points from that, but just shows how important he is. And that is the only problem. He's 34 years old. Are we going to get a fit Jake Livermore until till the end of the season. There's no signs that we won't, but those games will start coming, the midweek games soon. So we've seen Imran Loser depart today. Are we gonna bring reinforcements in? I'll ask that question, but a question before and one for the comments, and this might be recency bias, but has Jake Livermore been our player of the season so far? We spoke previously about Wesley Hoot after his goal against Hull, but could it be Jake Livermore?
Kingy,
Jacob,
I think he has to be. I think he has to be. He's gonna, as I said, he went under the radar a little bit. I think at the start of the season there were some reservations from some, but I actually think yesterday summed up really well about his performances this season. As soon as he goes off the pitch, we lose our structure, we lose our shape, we lose a little bit of control in the game on and off the ball. And I think there's players who have probably had individual moments. I think it was the first time Livermore yesterday had two individual moments where you can go, this game, Livermore did that, or he won us the game there. But what he's done in every single game is just give us that composure, that leadership, that control, which I think especially in a championship team, I can't think of a play. You need one in every single team. And if there's been too many seasons where we haven't had a player like that, and it's so refreshing to have a player like that in there. For me, Kingy, it's between him and Hamer probably for player of the season so far.
I was gonna. I mean, to be fair, I quite like Wesley Hoot. I think Hoot's been superb. I know if you say take Livermore out of the team, it might go pear-shaped. I think if he took Hoot out of the team, it would go even more pear-shaped personally. I almost feel like Jake Livermore want to accept player of the season. He seems like that kind of great professional. He just be like, "You've won it, Jake." I was like, "Oh, I don't want it. Someone else can have it." I don't know. I think it's a good contender. I think we've got lots. I think even Kayembe deserves it. I think Kayembe's come on leaps and bounds. But I think it'll actually be a player of the season vote for once, where we don't know the winner beforehand. Because I swear the last 4 years we've basically known it's going to be João Pedro, it's going to be Dennis, it's going to be Sarr. So I think even just for that reason, really, it's going to be great to actually see who wins it. But I would say Hoot still at the moment. But there's no reason to say that Livermore can't win it. I think.
Yeah, I think there's 5 standout ones, right, Sam? When you look at it from back to front, you've got Hamer, Hoot, Kayembe, Livermore, Kone is probably the 5. Potentially even if you wanted to chuck a Spria in there at some point. But we mentioned one of the first name I mentioned there was Ben Hamer, and Jake Livermore won us that game with his goals, but Ben Hamer saved us that game at times as well, particularly, well, I say at times, in the second half, he made some crucial saves, and he has been, again, brilliant. Just a word on him and his performances, because it's I think the one word to describe him would be clutch.
Unbelievable. I put a tweet out yesterday. I'm trying to think, what do you reckon his best save is this season? I think a lot of people have said it's sort of between the whole penalty save and the one yesterday. I thought as well that it was pretty insignificant, which is why it's been forgotten, but that free kick save against Preston with the last kick of the game was unbelievable as well. Wow, I think you're right. It's just been clutch for us, saving us so many points every single week. And I think at times in the way we've been a bit too over-reliant on him, particularly yesterday. I think I mentioned performance wasn't amazing and the subs weren't great either. But wow, that save comes through so many bodies. And to get down with one hand to parry that away, it did go back into sort of the danger area, but it was just enough that we could clear it as well. It was just an absolutely fantastic save. One of the saves of the season, if you look at the circumstances as well in the last minute. Like I say, bodies all around him. Just been absolutely brilliant. Who would have thought that he'd be the hero, one of the heroes this season? Because Dan Batman came out the side, having become captain, 5-year deal. We'd have thought, all right, we know who our number one is this season. But I think we know that he's probably going to be number one now for the rest of the season. And he sort of pushed my thoughts as well, that I don't think a goalkeeper's anywhere near the priorities anymore now for the rest of the season. I think we can use Hamer for the rest of the season. Yes, he makes mistakes. I still think sometimes his positioning is a bit questionable, but I think he can give us definitely more than enough, at least to the end of the season, where we can reassess and hopefully bring someone younger in.
Charlie, just on Hamer, what do you reckon pick of the bunch is? A lot of people are saying Preston in the live chat.
Yeah, there was one against Preston in the first half. I think it was a header, and he's proper like full stretched. was going in the top corner. I tweeted it yesterday, but how Valérien Ismaël has turned him into Gianluigi Buffon is like, it's incredible, the performances that he's putting up. He's come into the team from the cold. He's always been like a third choice Scott Carson type goalkeeper, but his performances, and I even thought yesterday his passing was good. He was chipping it over to Ryan quite often. He's kind of playing out from the back. He was being pretty brave, getting defenders kind of on them. But I think one thing that Sam touched on, and I tweeted the stats saying kind of his saves per 90 is the highest of anyone in the Championship who played 10 plus games, which is great because he's showing how much he's saving, but it kind of is going against what we were at the start of the season, where our kind of XG against was quite high. We're now conceding quite a few shots, and that's something that isn't quite sustainable. So it's something that we do need to get more control in games and tighten things up, because we can't rely on Ben Hamer making 5-6 saves a game. But, well, again, he deserves credit. Like yesterday, they put him out. It's so good after the game, seeing all the players come and whoever's a hero pushing him in front of the crowd. And he was absolutely loving it. Like, you saw the grin on his face as the fans were singing his song, Super Ben Hamer in goal. It's great to see. He should have got the 5-year deal.
A lot of people are saying as well that whether they can see a path back for Batman, but I think we'll save that for another show. From my perspective, Ben Hamer's been so good. I think the most impressive thing about the save at the end yesterday, not only the timing of it because it saved Watford's 2 points, but also the amount of bodies in front of him. He's gone down to his right hand side. He probably didn't see it till late. You think start the second half, Watford came out the blocks really slowly. He makes a big save, which could have completely changed the course of the game. And I just felt even when, crosses are coming in, he claims it, he slows it down. He uses all of his experience that he's got at 36 years of age. So I agree with Sam. I think it's one of those positions which I know we've mentioned on this channel about getting a keeper in potentially at some point in the future. Probably isn't the main. Well, it isn't the main priority now because of his performances. And it's true, as Mark says, it's full credit to Val for getting the best out of Hamer as well as most of the other players. James Redfern, random, but I saw Marvin Sordell playing Watford Sunday League yesterday. What a guy Marvin is as well. Just on the second half in general, just to wrap up the game, and we'll talk about sort of what this means for Watford. Kingy, what particularly? Just break it down for us. You've got a table in your head. You've got pros and cons of that Watford performance second half. Break it down for me.
I think obviously pros. We had a shot on target as first pro. I think character resilience at the end obviously was great. However, I mean, maybe I'm really negative, but those substitutes. I mean, you should. I don't know if you can get the graphic up from Sky that came on, but it said off Martins, Asprilla, and who else came on? Livermore, and then it was on. It said Pollock, Porteous, and Rajovic. Just those. I don't know if other people really thought it, but I thought those substitutions yesterday were completely.
Cheer up! You've just won again, mate.
That game would have been considerably more comfortable. I'm more thinking about you boys in the away end. I'm just.
It wasn't comfortable. I can assure you, it was not comfortable.
It was just 20 minutes to go. It was 2-0, and then all of a sudden they just went, "Oh yeah, we're just going to whack 3. We're going to whack, was it 3-4 centre halves on the pitch?" And it just, I thought it was really unnecessary. Personally, I just think we were getting them on the counter attack at 2-0 up. Then we stuck Pollock, Porteous, Hoot in a back three, pushed Sherrod in front, and then went, "Oh yeah, just come and attack us then, lads." Then they scored, and everyone was bricking it for 10 minutes. So I just feel, personally, I didn't think those changes were that effective. I know they've done it in the past when we're trying to protect and lead, but we were just countering them for. I think we just scored 3 or 4 if we'd have just, rotated the wingers, or that would be the only thing I'd say. I think it was just so much more difficult than it needed, so much more Watford than it needed to be.
Yeah, on the substitution, I have to say, Kingy, I agree with you in the sense that it made it a little bit uncomfortable. I think at 2-0, Val probably looked at it and went, "We've got 25 minutes to go." Obviously, there was 7 minutes of added time, which I thought was a little bit punchy. But we're 2-0 up. we're in cruise control. Let's rotate a couple of these players after the fixture period that we've had. Rotate it, just shore it up a little bit. Bring on 2 centre-backs who are no-nonsense in Pollock and Porteous. Bring on the big man up front in Rajvic and just play on the counter-attack. I think what eventually happened when Dijk scored is naturally, as you see with a lot of teams, we just sit off a little bit. I think you see that with a lot of teams. I do understand what you mean about the substitutions. I think we did lose control as soon as Liverpool went off the pitch. I think it is as simple as that. Sura makes the point that you need to keep all players fresh and involved. That's definitely a point to make. I guess without Ben Hamer, we might have a different tone on this story. You know, if that one had gone in at the end of the game, we might be sat here going, well, Val, screwed it up a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think, Sam, would you say coming away from... Do you know what? Interesting. Coming away from Loftus Road yesterday, did you feel we deserved to win? Because I didn't.
I think just immediately coming off it, I was just more delighted with the win itself rather than sort of... I think it was the feeling itself was just unbelievable after the game coming over the line because we didn't play that well. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, I think a draw probably would have been a fair result because I wouldn't go as far as saying QPR deserved to win the game. I don't think they were particularly good either. I think you're both spot on there. I thought the subs were really, really poor yesterday. If anything, they were 10, 15 minutes too early. I think particularly with QPR sort of coming out a bit, I think there were huge opportunities on the counter-attack that I think we probably could have, if we kept it the same, we probably could have scored another 2 or 3 goals as well. So I think that's probably an area that I think probably the 2 areas to work on for me at least would be another slow start and the substitutions were really, really poor. But other than that, like I said at the top of the show, intangibles were there, and that's what got us over the line yesterday. So I'm delighted with that.
Charlie, what does this mean? Sorry, Kingy.
Although I was just going to say, I just think the thing is, like the substitutions, they didn't work yesterday. But I think just to play devil's advocate on my own argument, there are changes he's made where he's completely changed the outcome of the game entirely. So I think it's just a thing of just, like I've said previously, I think it was just a bit too early. Personally, I don't think they were creating chances, but I don't think in that second half, I can't think of anything really clear cut to with the substitutions, unless I'm losing maybe a couple. I can't really. To be fair, it all kind of went around in a blur till Jay Livermore scored. If I'm totally honest with you, but I think as soon as the substitutions, then they were noticeable chances for QPR. But I think, before those subs, there was anything really. There's nothing memorable that I can think of where I'm going, we need you to make defensive changes. So, but like I say, no changes that have been really positive. So, what do you do?
Charlie, win in terms of the context of the season. 8th in the league, 1 point off the playoffs. Has your very probably too reactionary to say that our expectation and ambitions have changed from just yesterday's win? But how are you feeling now going into, for example, Bristol City at the weekend? Is it a sort of, I think the main thing from my perspective, I'm actually looking forward to seeing Watford every week now, really. I don't know what I'm going to get, but it's entertaining. Yeah,
just enjoy the ride. When you look and see we're only 1 point to the playoff, you start to think, but I don't want to put a dampener or anything, but I did look at our fixtures at kind of the running. And our last, however many games, we've got Coventry, Birmingham, Leeds, West Brom, Preston, Ipswich, Southampton, Hull, Sunderland, and Middlesbrough. They're our last games, so we are going to have to be either well and truly like up there in the playoff places and ride out some good results, or we're just going to have to go on a stunning run and beat all of them to make it. So, look, I think this season's all been about kind of getting our mojo back, bringing the good vibes back, and I think that we've done that securely now. I think now for the fans, just go to each game, enjoy it, celebrate every goal. Do you know what I mean? If we lose, don't think it's too much of a big deal. I'm quite enjoying not having the pressure of watching football. It's always felt previously that watching Watford, if you lose, we're not going to go up now because we've, do you know what I mean? It's vital, but I think this is a season that is very rare, and not that you want to sound kind of like it's all about taking part and you not being ambitious or anything like that. But I think it's fair to say this is a competitive season when you're looking at what Leicester, Leeds, Southampton are doing. Let's just enjoy it. Let's have plenty more away days. Let's kind of improve the home form, which hasn't been great recently. I think our away form's been stunning, which has been a right turnaround because it used to be we never win away. Now we always win away. So, yeah, I don't know how many likes we've got in the video, but 200 likes get me to Bristol City, and I'll happily do it because, like you said, it's just great to see this team. I don't really care who gets put out there, and we're talking about transfers. I saw a good tweet today. I was like, I don't care about transfers. We've got a good team here now. Val's got complete faith in them. Obviously, it'd be nice to be smart and if we can and bring in someone who's going to help us, but it just doesn't feel that pressure. And I think let's enjoy it for what it is.
If you look at our last 5 away games, that's 4 wins and 1 draw away from home, which Sam, last season, a man who went to every single away game, you're a better man than me. Who would have thought that a year ago that we'd be on that sort of away form?
I know what Charlie just said now about what this season's aims were and the pressure being off. I'd go as far as saying this season's already been better than last season. 100%. I don't know if that's a big call or if it's too much of a hot take. Let us know in the comments. But I genuinely think already I've enjoyed this season more than last season. I love this team compared to last season. It just seemed that I think what sort of happened was last season we'd start going away from home and we just knew we'd lose beforehand. I think the players knew. I think the manager knew. Like I say, last season at QPR away, Chris Wilder's first game, must have stood there after 10 minutes, went 1-0 down. And I thought, what on earth have I got myself in for? Because we didn't even look like getting back into the game when we went 1-0 down. So I think it was just about getting that Swansea win, getting that win finally over the line after 300 days or whatever it was. The next countdown now, by the way, is when will Watford next get a penalty? It's now 366 days since Watford last had a penalty in a competitive match. The last one was against Blackpool at home. Blackpool at home when Sarr scored. The same game when Toby Adeyemo scored. So that's the next one to look out for, I think. But going back to the away form, it's just amazing. The belief is back. Watford are back. Love this team.
Predictions for Bristol City, Kingy?
I mean, I'm attendance. They'll probably lose. No, I think. Well, seeing as they lost 4-0 at home, got absolutely stuffed. I would like to think that they would think, hang on a sec, we've got to show them actually what we're about. Because that Boxing Day game was absolutely shambolic.
Wait, what Boxing Day Bristol City this year?
Oh, that was on the. Have I got that wrong? It was Boxing Day, wasn't it, Bristol City? Yeah. It was Boxing Day. We lost 4-0 at home.
4-1.
4-1. Oh, wow.
No, 4-1.
4-1. So I think.
It's Karen Waterman where you need her.
Sorry, Kingy. So it was 4-1. It was a humbling Christmas experience.
Yeah, I hate Boxing Day. Generally, just the 2-0 at Millwall last season was even worse as well.
Don't worry, mate. You've only got under a year to wait.
Oh god, no! I think we've got to do better than the 4-1. I always keep saying to myself, "Oh, will I take a point?" I'm selfish. I want to win, so it's going to be a tough game, but hopefully it might be one of those where Bristol City think, "Oh, we've turned these lot over 4-1. We'll do them again." And maybe there's a bit of complacency that creeps in. I'll go 2-1
game midweek as well. West Ham at home in the FA Cup.
Oh, well, yeah. Hopefully we can. I'd like to think we can win it. I'd like to think we win it, and I finally see us win this season because I've generally not seen us win for ages. So,
what's your scoreline you going for, Kingy?
2-1 because we will inevitably concede. I think one of my friends texts me and says every time he does a BTTS accumulator, he puts Watford in it now automatically. So, I think 2-1.
18 overs, please gamble responsibly. Charlie.
Cultural with the admin, love it. Yeah, I think that's it. Like they lost to Preston on the weekend. I thought Preston were pretty bad against us, and they haven't been great. They've got a big game, like Sam said, against West Ham. All of their energy is going to go into that. They had a good result at the London Stadium, and yeah, Watford's form away. Yeah, we're going to do it. 3-0.
Oh, big. Sam, I'm going to go another 2-1 away win.
I'm going to go...
And we never make it easy.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 loss. I think... No.
Oh, cheer up, Sam.
No, because listen. if you're pessimistic with your score predictions, then anything is a surprise. Realistically, I think we'll win 5-0. So see you all next week.
Oh, really threw me off. There was just so we've gone through our predictions. Let us know in the comment section below your prediction for Bristol City. On like today's promo tweet, we had the QPR win. We had Rivich in Ipswich interest, but I don't think there's anything in that, is there, Charlie, that we need to touch on? There was some links of him potentially making a move there, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think Luke said. I think Lou Orns tweeted and said that a local Ipswich journalist said there was nothing in it. It was just quite an interesting talking point. People were kind of saying, if an offer came in for Rivich, do you take it? Do you not? So, yeah, I don't think we have to go over that if it's not realistic. Imran Loser leaving on loan. We have got Kayembe out injured. Again, I'm not. How are you guys feeling about the transfer window? Do you think we have to get someone in for Loser? Do you think we've got enough depth in that midfield? Because we've still got Kone, Tom Deli-Bashiru, Chatford-Etsy.
Well, correct if I'm wrong, lads, but I don't think a direct replacement for Losers the transfer here. The replacement should be, or not replacement, but backup should be to Livermore. That's the midfielder we need to be signing, because you can't take him off and have to put Sierralta into that number 6. We tried the experiment, Charlie. The experiment should be well and truly, unless emergency says otherwise, should be in the bin. He's a centre-back player at centre-back. But obviously, if Val doesn't have another number 6 in there, he has to play Sierralta for Livermore. So I think that's the signing we should be looking at for me this January. Sam, do you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I disagree. Sorry, I agree with you. Sorry, Loser wasn't involved anyway, so I think we were fine without him. And now he's officially gone. I think we'll be completely fine. There goes
Did you crack open the champagne?
It's been a party around mine all afternoon. No, listen, I think I don't want to call it an agenda. I hate that word, because I do think it was. If I say so myself, I did think my criticism of Loser was fair. I don't think he's kicked on at all in a Watford shirt. I think he's been really, really poor, particularly this season. I like to think with him gone now, that's sort of the last out of last season's regulars who have now moved on. In terms of, again, I don't want to say bad eggs because I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But yeah, now that he's moved on, we can really look into the future. There goes Jacob's player of the season prediction as well. You went for Imran Loser, and Loser.
I think it was mine. I think it was mine. I hope
might have been yours. I mean,
well done for getting a last digging.
I'm bringing up the receipts from the start of the season. That's a low blow.
Best of luck to him, man, for the rest of the season. Enjoy playing for the bottom of the league in Ligue 1.
Do you know what? It's a real shame with him on Loser. I think there's me and Sam walked out after 50 minutes at Millwall away last year, but I think it's a real shame. I think he's incredibly talented. I genuinely think it's a real shame that it's just not worked out. I do think he is a very, very good player.
I was wondering whether I heard special.
Yeah, no, I do. I think he's. I think when he could be bothered, it's like Sarr. I know it's Lilgar and Europeans on Lilgar. Sarr, he's doing extremely well for Marseille, and it's just a shame that these players are quality. I feel like, but something just doesn't work out. Maybe it's the change in management, and I just feel like that they just end up really losing their talent. And I do sort of. He doesn't need my sympathy, I imagine. He's a professional footballer, but I do feel sorry for him, Loser. I think it's a real shame. And the thing about a loan with no option to buy on it is that hopefully you can transform into a bit more of a player at Lorient, and maybe we get a sell him. But I do think it's a real shame, because I think, like Charlie said at the start of the season, I think we had high expectations for him. So, I'll balance Sam's detrimental comments for the, good luck to Imran.
Good luck to Imran. And you know what? Some would say bon chance. But one thing I would say about Loser, Adam Lemontal mentioned it on our video with him about sort of he's been played so many different positions and so under so many different managers. And I think we said the same thing about Pedro. When he gets in a functional system, which he's had the opportunity to do this season, to be fair. You know, I think some people forget that. You know, he's had the opportunity to play in a stable environment, a stable team, and Val hasn't fancied him. And I think, look, we'll see how he gets on in Ligue 1 for 6 months. We were going to mention Antonio Tikvic. We're being told now that he's not joining, so that's been confirmed. So we'll leave that one.
I've just done an 8-word document on it.
Charlie's been on Y Scout all day, finding out how is the next Wesley Hoot. I'm just going to quickly, before we wrap up, I know Sam's got to shoot. I don't know what night it is tonight. Is it a big night? Monday Night Football potentially. But I'm just going to read through the comments very, very quickly to make sure that we haven't missed any of your points. Adam says, shoot. Livermore and Hamer for England from Geordie. Christian says, does anyone else think Livermore is in with a shout for the Ballon d'Or? Harry says, school was 10 times better after yesterday. I love that. Rio, Macbeth revision whilst watching WD18, the perfect duo. Dan says, I'm watching this for the third year running. Love that, mate. Quality. There was, in terms of away days, lads, Blackburn over Preston, QPR over Blackburn. Who wants to take that?
Preston's the GOAT.
Yeah, Preston was unbelievable. I'd go Preston, QPR, Blackburn.
Laura, even during his iconic celebrations, Jake was congratulating his teammates. What a guy. Craig, important win against a team fighting relegation, but with our defence was very poor yesterday, but a win. Happy days, comment you on it. Patrick, is Alex Uncle Ron in disguise? Cheer up, Dud, you warns.
It's actually the whole ploy. That's actually, I am him.
Oh, no.
Sorry?
No.
No.
Okay, you're not confirmed. Happy squad spells success. Just going to run through a few more. Shout out to Hacker. I know him from 90 Min. What a man. Laura, frustrating in that first half. They didn't play the ball from the back to Esprit, who was unmarked, but played it to Martin instead. Going through the super chat, Leventhal confirmed we're not signing a left centre back. Ben Hamer summed it up when he said Livermore went off, our shape went to poo. Need backup for the old boy, says Lou Orns. And I think
shout out Tommy Whedon, it's his birthday.
Shout out to Tommy Whedon. What a man. I think that's what we're gonna wrap it up. Shout out to Tommy. What a man. I know he's a regular watcher of our channels. And I think that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you so much to everyone who watched today. Over 100 of you watching live. If you're watching this back on the way out, if you could drop us a like. I mean, look, there's a 200 like target on this video, and you can see Charlie Zazera in Bristol. If that doesn't deserve a like, then I don't know what will. So make sure you do leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to WD18. Follow Uncle Ron, Charlie, and Sam on social. Follow Alex, Charlie, and Sam on socials. We will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, guys. If you see us at Bristol City, come and say hello. And up the Hornets. You want?
Yellows.